Welcome to the Overtime Exhaustion Series. This is a series where we just keep pushing. After we done that Navy SEAL burpee challenge, we still got time to get it in. So let's just keep stretching and keep beasting through. We're gonna do a full body dumbbell workout, 10 minutes, to just tighten up any areas, bulk up any areas. You know what I'm saying? Just get to it. So let's just enjoy. Let's have fun. Let's listen to Scoville Shin give us some spiritual understanding. Yes, Scoville Shin. Yeah, Scoville Shin. Let's get it in.
Destiny. I say to you now, the mirror has never been about appearance. It has always been about authority. The reflection does not tell you who you are. You tell the reflection who you are. That is the law. The mirror is obedient. It reflects what you expect. It echoes what you declare. It confirms what you confess. And if you continue to speak as a victim, as a beggar, as one forgotten by heaven, the mirror will nod and show you more of the same. But the moment you shift, the moment you speak from spiritual identity instead of fear, the mirror bows. You do not need to chase affirmation from the world. You don't need someone else to tell you you're powerful, worthy, radiant, chosen. You have the divine right to declare it and see it reflected back. I have said it before and I say it again. The body is the battleground of belief, and your mirror is your altar. Most people dress their bodies but never dress their beliefs. They check their face but never command their future. They look at what is but never declare what must be. And that is why nothing shifts. But you were called to something higher. If you are watching this, it is not by accident. It means your soul has grown tired of waiting. It means your divine memory is awakening. It means heaven is knocking, not from outside your life, but from inside your own voice. Hear me now. There is one sentence, when spoken from the Spirit, that will change the reflection. One sentence that will cause the face you see to shift, the atmosphere to glow, the identity to rise. I will give you that sentence, but you must understand the law first, because if you speak it without knowing who you are, the mirror will reject it. The word must be rooted in identity to have power. That is why I do not give you slogans. I do not teach affirmations as bandages. I teach you to speak from the Spirit. I teach you to awaken the I am, not the I hope. I teach you to stand in front of that mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and say with full spiritual voltage, God in me is speaking through me, and every word I declare is already fulfilled. But before we arrive at the sentence, we must tear down the old ones. What sentences have you been repeating in silence? This is just how I look. This is as good as it gets. I can't change now. I'm too old, too late, too tired, too forgotten. Beloved, those are not sentences. Those are spells, and the mirror has obeyed them faithfully, day after day. You want change? Break the spell. Interrupt the rhythm. Speak something the reflection has never heard before. I do not care what the world has said. I do not care what the numbers show. I do not care how long it's been or how heavy your yesterdays feel. All that matters is what you speak now, because now is the moment of power. Now is the moment of resurrection. Now is the moment the reflection begins to shift. So say this with me, not as practice, but as prophecy. This mirror is not a reflection, it is a revelation. It shows what I say. It reveals who I believe I am. I speak now from divine mind, and what I speak shall appear. You are not powerless. You are not waiting for permission. You are not at the mercy of what the mirror shows. You are the voice that gives the mirror its script. And now we begin. I say this to you now, not as metaphor, but as spiritual law. When you look into the mirror, you are looking into the face of God cloaked in your form. And until you recognize that, the mirror will remain a place of fear. It will mock you with your past. It will reflect the sentences you've spoken in secret. And it will confirm the identity the world gave you, unless you speak otherwise. The mirror is not a vanity. The mirror is not a tool for makeup or grooming. It is a spiritual X-ray, revealing the dominant pattern of your belief. You may think you're seeing your cheekbones, your jawline, your skin, but you're not. You're seeing your words made visible, your affirmations, your complaints, your doubts, your declarations, all gathered in one place, staring back at you. The law is this: the outer face always reflects the inner faith. So many people ask, why does nothing change? I answer with a question of my own. What do you keep telling the mirror to repeat? Because the mirror is not creative. It does not innovate. It does not originate. It simply responds. It responds to the sentence beneath your breath. It responds to the internal script you rehearse while brushing your teeth. And if that script is laced with shame, unworthiness, guilt, aging, fatigue, then that is what the mirror will reflect. But when you return to the truth, that you are the image and likeness of the Most High, that you were spoken into existence by the same word that framed the universe, then you stop letting the mirror tell you who you are. You begin to tell it. You begin to teach your reflection to remember. God is not outside your life, watching from a distance. God is within the mirror, waiting for recognition. The image you carry is not random. It is divine architecture. Your eyes were designed to radiate vision. Your mouth was formed to deliver decree. Your spine was shaped to stand in dominion. Every line in your face carries the memory of eternity. And every time you stare without speaking, you dishonor the image. You are not your reflection. You are the voice that gives the reflection power. And when you speak, the reflection must obey. This is the law of reflection, not superstition, not surface-level manifesting, but bold, divine command. Do you remember the burning bush? When Moses asked for a name, God replied, I am that I am. The holiest name, the most potent truth. And every time you say, I am, you invoke it. Every time you look in the mirror and say, I am tired, I am stuck, I am broke, I am ugly, you have taken the name of the Lord in vain, not by profanity, but by false declaration, because the God within cannot be limited by your temporary feelings. So I teach you now, redeem the mirror, reclaim your image, retrain your mouth to align with divine truth. Look directly into the mirror because of how they look. They fear the mirror because of what it knows. The mirror does not lie. It holds no social mask. It offers no polite distraction. It is the last place on earth where the soul has no disguise. And so they look, but they do not see. They glance, but they do not gaze. Because somewhere deep within, they know the mirror remembers. It remembers what you've said in secret. It remembers the vows you made in fear. It remembers the day you gave up on your voice, the moment you accepted a lesser name, the season you stopped praying because nothing seemed to move. The mirror remembers who you were before you became cautious, agreeable, tamed, and that memory burns. So you cover it with foundation, with detachment, with self-deprecating humor. You cover it with busyness, with comparison, with scrolling. But every morning when your eyes meet your own, there is that split-second flicker, the flash of truth, the ache of something forgotten. And that's why they fear the mirror. Not because it shows them the truth of their face, but because it shows them the betrayal of their voice. You were born speaking, not in language, but in presence. The infant does not explain. It declares. It does not beg. It expresses. It does not check to see if it is lovable. It simply lives as if it is. But something happened along the way. The mirror became a measuring stick, a test, a torment. And so the voice began to shrink. The mouth stopped declaring and started apologizing. The eyes stopped shining and started searching. And what once was a holy altar became a source of silent dread. They avoid the mirror because it is the one place the performance breaks. I have seen women afraid to take off their makeup, not because of lines or pores, but because without the costume, they might remember their soul. I have seen men who cannot meet their own gaze, not because of weakness, but because they were taught never to feel. And if they did, they were told to hide it behind achievements. The mirror is where that mask cracks, and they fear the flood. But beloved, what if the mirror was never your enemy? What if it was your witness? What if it has been waiting day after day for you to return? Not to the version you built for survival, but to the voice you had before the world taught you fear? I tell you now, the mirror is not dangerous, but it is holy. And all holiness demands reverence. The mirror will not chase you. It will not flatter you. It will not soothe you. It waits until you are ready to speak, not from the ego, but from the eternal. And when you do, it listens.
Great workout, guys. Great workout. Good stuff. We got through that little 10-minute full body real quick. You know what I'm saying? Listen to our girl, Nancy Scoville shit. One thing I like about her is she break it down about, you know what I'm saying, those words. You know what I'm saying? And really what you say. You know what I'm saying? I like how certain speakers, they take certain things from the Bible and they break it down and detail it. A lot of things I've tested. You know what I'm saying? When I used to hear some of that stuff, it really didn't go in one ear and out the other. I wasn't dismissive to it. I was mainly just always focused on getting money. I was more or less ignorant to it. I didn't really like give it a hear. You know how you got some people that be like, oh, I know that, but they really don't know it. They just heard it and theorizing. They really don't know it because you only know something unless you're applying it and you're living it and you're doing it in real time. Other than that, you're just theorizing and just running your mouth. You know what I'm saying? So when I would hear those things, I would hear of them, but it wasn't my knowledge to claim that I knew it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was always just naturally relentless. You know what I'm saying? Just going for, just playing sports. But as I start really catching more understanding on speech and thought, you know what I'm saying? I really started like running a test. And that's where I started really seeing that that's real. And that's what I was talking about. And that's why I started really people watching and paying attention to people. And people naturally, their default system is to complain and to be tripping and all that. So as she sits up and she talks about that hitting the mirror and going in the mirror, what do you see? You know what I'm saying? What have you been working on and all that? And I do understand where she's coming from with that. So this is where I start applying those things to my life and all that. Just like, oh, okay. And that's why when I would be, so I had a store, and different people come in, and I notice everything is so negative. Or I'll sit up and I'll be dispatched, you know what I'm saying, working on a job, working on a booth, because I do build entrepreneur booths, and I just be seeing these different folks, and everybody just so negative. Everything out their mouth, everything. I'm talking about it's just natural to be negative and natural to say these things. You know what I'm saying? So I started realizing that, you know what I'm saying, I think people say they do believe in God, but I think there's a confusion with this belief, because belief is action. It's not just saying. It's action. It's falling in alignment and, living that type of life and speaking it. You know what I'm saying? God ain't need you to be like a Mormon all corny and stuff, but he does want you to feel, you know what I'm saying, and think and talk more positive versus negative. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta be all churchy. You can still have your fun, do your thing in life. Just keep everything more optimistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. Just, stop saying whatever. But that's one thing I noticed. So just pay attention to that, because when you're around more people like that, you notice they're not goal-oriented. They don't have goals. They're not focused on nothing. And then, like, if you're the type of person that talk positive, they'll hop in that positive conversation with you. And they'll act like they're positive. You'll take 20 people right here, and we'll have a positive conversation. You'll have people competing on what they know about being positive and affirmations and all. Man, it'll be a big old conversation. People, oh yeah, because I know, whoa. Give it about a few hours later on that day. All them people whining, complaining, you know what I'm saying? You being triggered. As soon as you say, oh, I'm not triggered, or I'm not, just watch these people. They ain't never gonna admit their craziness. And then they gonna throw it on others. You know what I'm saying? I just peep it. So, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, let's just look at what folks doing every day. And that'll help you be able to discern better. You know what I'm saying? Because I made a lot of discernment mistakes growing up, you know. So we want to sit up and now we want to help each other so that we can navigate through life properly. And we can connect with the styles of people that we want to connect with so we can achieve the things we want to achieve and stay away from those tag-aloners and those lacklusterers and them toxic people that don't know they toxic, but they overly toxic. Will never admit it, can't see it, but they just drenched in it. Drenched. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're dealing with these days, man. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with these drenched, toxic people that don't want to admit it. So, just be careful out here in these battlefields. You know what I mean? And with that being said, I say you power and strength, and more power and strength. You stay up out here. And you already know what it is. Together, we can do anything.